This episode of the Capital G Show has been brought to you by the absolutely free-to-play Dungeons & Dragons Neverwinter. If you like D&D or you just happen to like action RPG games like Diablo, League of Legends, or Dota, I think that this game is definitely worth checking out. The link is in the description. You'll probably have a good time. What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, talking about one of the best side cards in the game that nobody even knows exists. I mean, this card sees absolutely no play, and people have known about the card for ages. I think a lot of them were just waiting for it to get good, and right now, in this format, this card is actually pretty amazing. My homeboy Inch95, or Alex as he likes to be called, turned me onto this card when he ran it in his Mermail deck at his regionals. The card I'm talking about is Zombie World. If you don't know what it is, it's a field spell. It says all monsters on the field and in every graveyard become zombie type monsters. Neither player can tribute summon monsters except zombie type monsters. Okay, so why is this card good right now? Well, first off, you have to understand what type of format we're playing in. We're basically playing in a format that is filled with a bunch of decks that rely on having a specific type of monster to either A, exceed into their powerhouse monsters, or B, protect and power themselves up. So, I mean, you guys know the usual suspects by now. You've got the deck that I play, BUJINGI. Okay, well, let's say you have Zombie World against BUJINGI. That means everything on the field is now a zombie. So you can't use Hare, you can't use Quillen, you can't use Centipede, you can't use Crane, you can't even summon Mikazuki off its effect. You can't summon King Tiger, you can't exceed into Kagasuchi, which is one of the best cards. And unlike a card like Robbery of Warlords, which just gets completely wrecked by Decree, this card is a lot more difficult to deal with. You side this in against Prophecy, and you pretty much ensure a swift deck to the spellbooks. I mean, there's no power, there's no fate, there's no wisdom, there's no master, there's no spellbook of life. You know, it's even going to get better when the rule change. When we get the OCG rule changes about, both players being able to have field spell cards, because now your opponent can have Spellbook Tower on the field and you can simply play your Zombie World and your opponent won't be able to just get rid of it by playing a second copy of Tower that, maybe they search via secrets or something like that. Because the entire time that they have Tower on field, if you've got Zombie World, well, every monster on field and in the graveyard is now a zombie, so they can't trigger its effect. Another deck that this is absolutely crippling against is Noble Knights. Noble Knights might not see a ton of play, but they're one of those decks that are incredibly difficult to combat against, especially if you don't know a lot of their effects. But all you really need to know is this. Every single card that they run, all those power-up swords, they have to be equipped to warriors, and that's kind of a problem considering only zombies can exist on the field if you have Zombie World out. Even a deck like Girgia, which I consider to be my most headache matchup of the entire format, they can't make Gear Giant X, which is essentially the whole damn deck. They can't use Geargiano's effect, and if they're playing like Karakuris, they're mixing in those. They can't go into any other Karakuri synchros, so their options are pretty much either to Exciton Knight the field and, just hope that they don't have advantage at the time, or Black Rose, which is pretty different. I think that this card is very legit. It's very easy to side if you're playing a deck like Mermail. Even Firefish, you kind of have to watch out with Firefish because it does disrupt your Wolfberg plays. Since the monsters in the graveyard are no longer beast warriors, they're zombies. I think that it's even cool if you side it with Constellars. There's actually really cool plays you can do, because then you can make the Crimson Knight Vampire and you can start special summoning shit from your opponent's graveyard, and then it just gets nutty. So definitely consider this card. I think that it's a little better than Robbery of Warlords. I know it's not a trap, but your opponent also can't roll to create it and just completely get rid of it that way. It's also, again, much better against Prophecy because you can either just play it on top of their Spellbook Tower, or you can just wait for the rule changes and know that your Spellbook Tower or their Spellbook Tower can't be played over top of your Zombie World, and I mean, that's pretty much just a wrap against that deck. Thank you for watching. As always, guys, let me know what you guys think of Zombie World, and maybe if there's some other tech cards that I haven't thought about. Thanks for watching. Subscribing makes life happy.